Hi everybody, this is Alma coming to you from Long Beach, California. Today is Thursday, September 3rd. I think that's right. And today will be another Stitch With Me video. So I want to welcome you all. Welcome back to all of your returning viewers and subscribers. Thank you as ever for your continuing support. And I also want to welcome any new viewers that might be visiting for the first time. I hope that you have a nice time, that you like what you see, and you decide to come back, stick around, come back for another Stitch With Me, or just to watch my regular FlossTube videos. I do want to say thank you all for the enthusiasm that you all showed for my first Stitch With Me video. I do really appreciate it. I was kind of nervous. You know, I didn't really know what I was going to talk about until I was talking about it, that kind of thing. So I do appreciate you guys being so supportive. I decided I did have a little bit of time before my first class, so I thought a Stitch With Me would be nice. And this right here is my newest start. Since September is Sampler September, I thought I would go ahead and start the Linen and Threads 2020 Mystery Sampler, which I mean, I guess I can show you the first part, since that's what I'm working on. This is a 12-part series. I mean, I'm sure some of you have seen it around. This is a 12-part series, so and it started with the new year. So here we go. So this is it. I've seen so many people work on this all year, and I was always on the fence about it. Ironically enough, like the name of the sampler is Friends and Family, because as you saw, I don't know if you could see in the let's just show that again, shall we? As you see in the first part, all throughout the design there's places for, and you can see myself in there, sorry, but all throughout the design there's places for initials and letters, hence the name, you know, Friends and Family. That's a place for you to go ahead and commemorate, you know, friends and family. What a concept. And I don't know, and it's a common, like I've seen people doing the same thing. They're like, I don't know who to put in there. I don't know how to spread them out, like where to put each initial in terms of, you know, relevancy. And that was kind of the same issue that I was coming across. Was like, okay, well, if I worked on this, like I don't know, like I don't know who I would put on there. And then it wasn't until recently that I kind of figured, in the worst case scenario, I go ahead and work on the sampler and just omit those spaces, right, for the initials. And it wasn't until recently that I learned that you could actually do that, and then that there would be, which I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, there'll be motifs that you can use at the end to in lieu of those initials. So I think that's what I'll do. Again, worst case scenario, they just happen to be empty spaces. I'm not gonna be sad about that. But I'm stitching that on 18 count Ada, dyed by Rolanda, of Hand Dyed by Rolanda. So the way that she works is she just does one-offs. She doesn't necessarily, oh, how do you explain it? It's not like it's a don't know, it's a product. She just does them once, and then, you know, good luck trying to get the same one again. So that's how I knew, like, okay, if I'm gonna be getting this, missed a stitch. If I'm gonna be getting this, then I have to get it now, because who knows if it's going to be available. So yeah, so I got it, and I'm talking like maybe like a year and a half ago. This was long before I even started experimenting with hand-dyed fabrics. That's how much I fell in love with it. It was like, I don't know what I'm gonna use this for, but I'm definitely gonna use it. And one of the things that I did tell myself was that whatever I did work on it, it was going to be monochromatic. I thought, oh, I have not. You know, as it comes with designs, hand-dyed fabric, a lot of times they're meant to, I don't know, they're treated as accents, I suppose. They still do wonders for the completed design, but ultimately what's important is the design, like with Mirabilis, and, you know, Bella Filipinas, and Lavenders and Laces, Lavender and Laces. You know, you can go ahead and buy the hand-dyed fabric to give it a little bit more character, but ultimately it's the design that counts. And with this one, when I bought the fabric, I knew that I was going to do a monochromatic piece, so that whatever I did stitch on it, the fabric would be what stood out. So yeah, so here we are. I'm excited. I have zero intentions of catching up. I honestly just want to stitch this at my own leisure. And yeah, like the final 3 parts will be released soon. So, well, not soon, but you know, the beginning of each month. So yeah, so we'll see where that goes. Yeah, I already gave you the stitch count, the design, which, I mean, I'll go ahead and put a link to the Linen and Threads website and the Hand Dyed by Rolanda Etsy shop. Again, I don't know that she'll have something similar to this because I did buy it a long time ago, but you're more than welcome to check her out. She does some really nice work. And let me see what else. I was gonna mention something about Linen and Threads. Oh yeah, the pattern is free. The pattern is free, and they still have the links up for past styles. So if the 2020 sampler style wasn't much to your liking, you're more than welcome to also check out previous years. They did a band sampler a couple of years ago. I think last year was Peacock something. So you're more than welcome to check them out. Again, it's free, which is partly why I was also like, why not? It's free. And I am using a Kim's needle minder. And for the thread, I'm using GMC 3808, which is actually my favorite color. Just out of all the DMC colors, that's my favorite color. And I started this another sampler that I have in mind. This is another Halloween mystery style. Since it's with September, there's a few events going on. There's Sal September, there's Sampler September, so that's also why I wanted to start this as well. I figured, why not? It's both a Sal and a sampler. Win-win. But yeah, I'm just happily stitching along. This is relatively easy stitching. I do have the I mean, I do have the pattern here next to me, but I mean, it's motifs, right? And they all repeat, and that's why they made, I think that's what makes them so easy to stitch. I did go through some of the comments from the last couple of videos, definitely from the last Stitch With Me. I did want to go ahead and answer those questions. And I'm still going through the comments, so I apologize if I missed yours. I promise, if you want to go ahead and re-post your question on this video, you're more than welcome to. But I haven't finished going through my video or my comments. It's bad, and I'm sorry. I will go to it. I will get to it. I promise. One of the questions that I was asked was it was a follow-up question regarding my gridding. Oops, sorry, earthquake. Oh man. Okay, there we go. Sorry people. They asked, so just to reiterate, this is what I use for my gridding in my full coverage. Focus. Are we focusing? It's a sulky sliver. There we go. Sulky sliver metallic thread. And the reason why I chose this is because it slides right off the fabric. It's really easy to work with. You can also reuse it, so that's what I tend to do. So the question that I was asked was whether I left the gridding thread in until the end, or if I took it out as I went along. And so the answer to that is I usually take it out as I go along because I can reuse it. Most of the time I can reuse it. Sometimes it does get, you know, too curly or whatnot when you take it out, and at that point I'll just go ahead and throw it away and use and cut a new piece, but a new length. For the most part it's been good. I've been able to reuse it. Another question I was asked was a follow-up to the No New Starts, which again is a Facebook group. They were like, where is this? That was the question, was where can I find information about this No New Starts thing that you keep talking about? And it is a Facebook group. The admins actually just announced the official rules, so I guess this is as good a time as any to join, because previously it was just, you know, they just made the group and that's it. They were like, okay, you can chill here for a little bit, and then they said they let us know, they're like, we're not going to be releasing the official rules until September. So as soon as September 1st rolled around, that's when they gave us the rules. And I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, ultimately the main goal is to not start anything. They are going to be nice, and they're giving us all a freebie because they know that some of us like to start, you know, a new start for our birthdays or the new year. So they said that we could have a freebie to use anytime throughout the year, but that's it. You just get the one. And there'll be like smaller challenges throughout the year as well. So there'll be challenges within a challenge. I will go ahead and post the link to that Facebook group below if that is of interest, so you can join. And another thing is, you don't have to participate in the main, like it feels weird, like it sounds weird, like you don't have to participate in No New Starts to join No New Starts. They kind of want to make it fun, or part of the fun, I suppose, is to have, you know, enablers. Have people that are just chilling there, doing their own thing and starting as much as they want. So, you know, kind of tempt others to let go and start something new. But yeah, you are more, again, so whether or not you want to try to not start anything new, you are more than welcome to join. Another thing that they ask is that if you are participating in the No New Starts challenge, to go ahead and set up an album of your whips, which I'm not going to do until we get closer to the end of the year, because again, sometimes like with this new start right here, I just, yeah, I'd rather not do an album until I have like an official starting, because that's the other thing is I want to keep, I'm going to keep going on my whips, so I don't want to add anything if I know that the progress shot, because yeah, the progress shot is going to be like outdated. Okay, yeah, so that was one question. Another question I got was a follow-up regarding my 25 count pieces, and whether or not the 25 count was Ada. And the answer to that is the 25 count that I got was a Zweigard, which I guess is similar to Ada, but it's a lot softer, so there's that as well. Because I know that a lot of people like to stitch on sturdier fabric, or not as flimsy, I suppose. But you know, people love 25 count for specifically because it's like the right mix of sturdy and soft. So you know, take that for what you will. I personally am enjoying stitching on it. It's still a little bit of a trip adjusting to the changes, particularly if, you know, if I'm stitching on like the Rick and Morty piece that I showed you guys last time on my Stitch With Me's. That one's 14 count, and I remember at one point I was stitching on that one, and then later on in the day I decided to pick up one of my 25 count pieces, which is mini mauve irises, and that tripped me up. That was like, okay, well, because the change was very drastic. But if I just, you know, if I go from 18 count to 25 count, it's not that bad, because they're fairly similar. Let me see, what else do I have here? Another question, I actually get this question a lot. I was asked how fast I stitch and for how long I stitch. And so the answer to the first question is, on average, I would say it's about 100 stitches per hour. I say average because, you know, sometimes if I'm working on like a confetti heavy area, it's going to be a lot less. But if I'm working on places, you know, with like blocks of color, then it's going to be faster. And as far as how long I stitch for, that can vary a lot. Sometimes it's 4 hours, sometimes it's 5, sometimes less, you know, it just depends, you know, it depends on what I need to do. I am one of those individuals that lost her job to COVID, so there was only so much I could do in terms of looking for a new job. Did I mess up? No, this is so I had time to stitch. That ended this week. And I actually do have a class coming up soon, but I thought I could go ahead and film this beforehand. But yeah, another reason why I can't really give a straight answer to that is because sometimes I'll, you know, stitch when I'm watching TV, or stitch when like I'm doing something else, you know. And I also enjoyed stitching while my boyfriend was playing WoW. If I'm not necessarily playing along with him, I'll go ahead and I'll keep him company as I stitch. So yeah, I guess that's not much of an answer. But as I mentioned, that kind of does, or it is going to be impacted by school. School just started for me. The classes are good enough, I suppose. I'm only taking 2 this semester because I do want to keep looking for a job. So I'm only taking 2, one of which is a self-study class. So the only times when we're required to come in, and by come in I mean come for Zoom, is with tests and quizzes. So everything else is, you know, she does offer office hours via Zoom if you need help, and she has like set hours. So she says every Tuesdays and Thursdays from this time to this time you can find me on Zoom. Otherwise, you can always email me. And yeah, I'm also taking a introduction to computer science course, which that's fun. I started playing around with the program we're using for the class. I started playing around with it yesterday, and yeah, that was fun. That's the class that I'm gonna have after this, and yeah, it's just one of those things, I suppose. I always like to say that I was a social science major, not a physical science major, because ever since high school, I mean, you can kind of tell what your strengths and your weaknesses are, and at least starting in high school or middle school. And for me, it was always history and English. I loved English, loved English. Science and math, not so much. I kind of just, yeah, those were a little bit more difficult to come, to pass. So, you know, if you had told me 3 years ago, 5 years ago, that I was going to be going back to school to get a degree in computer engineering, I would have laughed in your face. Said you are crazy. Let me go ahead and just change my thread. But I think it's going to be a good experience. I said, just based on the first impression I got from the first class, I think it will be a good experience. I am excited. So hopefully that'll not change, because I know that sometimes enthusiasm does dwindle down as time goes along. But yeah, until that happens, I mean, I'm still going to, you know, make sure that I practice on my own a lot. Like even just yesterday when I was tweaking around with the program, like that was just me. That was my part wanting to get ahead, I suppose. Although I don't necessarily think it's getting ahead. I'm thinking of it as getting comfortable with the system. So yeah. So that's definitely going to put a dent. This whole thing was to say that that's going to definitely put a dent in my stitching time. My boyfriend likes to say I'm a storyteller because I take the roundabout way of making a point. But I guess that's how these things go, right? Just kind of stream of consciousness. Go along with it. I just felt like telling you guys about my my classes and my experience. So sorry if that's not of interest, but that's how it goes. Let me see if I can find the right place to start. And again, I'm loving stitching on this for the for the sake of the repetition. I can stitch on this and not necessarily look at the pattern much. But yeah, I really like how this looks on this fabric. So I'm excited to keep going on it. I don't know if, because I know that some people will add other colors for accents. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Personally, for right now, I'm really happy with just the 3808. But I might ask, because I know that, for example, there's a butterfly in this section, so I may do that in like a dark magenta or dark violet so that I can stick out. We'll see. We'll see what I end up doing. I am doing that for my Frankenstein style. So since we're Sampler September, right? Besides this one, I do have the Three Things Sampler by Moira Blackburn going. I also have the Frankenstein Mystery Style, which is also a sampler. I'm also going to be doing another style, oops, oh my goodness, you can't even see, I'm so sorry. I'm also going to be doing a Halloween mystery style. I don't know if it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a sampler, but it is going to be a style. So, and I actually just got the fabric for that. Ta-da! Isn't it pretty? And the pattern has a lot of oranges and golds. It is Halloween themed, so that's the reason why I chose this fabric is because it doesn't really have any purple floss. It has a lot of yellows, oranges, and grays and black, so that's what it's steering towards. And sorry, I'm taking care of a knot over here. But yeah, that's one thing that I'll be starting soon. The first part drops, I think, on the 6th, I want to say. It was originally supposed to start in September, and she was actually really nice and postponed it a week because, I guess a lot of people were reaching out saying that, because of the situation with the Postal Service, they weren't getting their fabric on time. So she postponed it for a week to allow those people to receive their packages. So, but it's fine. It'll be starting soon anyways. That's another one that's free. So I'll go ahead and post the link to the Facebook group, because that's the other thing, is it's not available on Etsy or anything like that. It's strictly on the Facebook group. So I'll go ahead and post the link. The Facebook group is called Snarky and Modern Cross Stitch. So that'll also give you an idea of what kind of pattern this is going to be. So it'll be interesting, I should think. I'm excited. We'll see. We'll see. And as far as the Frankenstein pattern goes, the first official part also dropped. I want to say on the 29th of August. That sounds about right. She is going to be doing the first discussion soon. So, it's a stitching book club. We're technically supposed to be reading and stitching along. So the first discussion is coming up soon. So I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a good time. Because again, this is the first time that I've started. And for that one, I have decided that I'm going to be, and I think I may have mentioned this in my last video as well, because I know I showed you guys Frankenstein, but I am using gray to offset the borders, especially because the first part that she released this week or last week, it has there's like a border within a border. So that, if anything, was the deciding factor. I thought, okay, I'll go ahead and do the borders on the variated floss, but then the actual motifs and the scenes that she's going to have on there, I'll just do those in gray so that it's not too crazy. And so far so good. I finished the borders. I'm just gonna do the scenes now on the gray. But aside from that, I do want to keep going on my 3 Things sampler by Moira Blackburn. I also decided that once I finish that one, I will start the Hope sampler. And it's by Moira Blackburn as well. It's the same idea. But I also have Consider the Lilies, which I actually have over here. So this is Heartstring Samplery. Oops, sorry for the glare. Heartstring Samplery, and the name is Consider the Lilies. There we go. And as you can see, and I'll tilt this so it's to avoid the glare. It's massive, but it's beautiful. I fell in love with all those flowers, all those little motifs. Like, can we just look at the little butterfly over here? I'm so excited to stitch that butterfly. So yeah, so that's another sampler that I don't think I'll be starting this soon though. It's a lot, but and you know, never say never. And sorry, I'm taking care of another knot because apparently that's what I'm going to be doing today, is just undoing knots. There we go. I guess I should have just cut this length a little shorter. That's what that tells me, that it's too long. Let me see, what else did I get? Oh, one very good question. This was kind of like a very unique question that I got from one of my viewers. I think it was from my video in Spanish actually, but I wanted to share anyway. She asked me, how do I keep myself inspired when working on a whip? And my answer to that is kind of long. I don't know. Ultimately, for me, the best cure for you know, when you're stuck is to start something new. Start something new that usually gets the mojo going for me, and then I can go back and tackle whatever difficult situation I was dealing with on my other whip. If a new start is not in the cards, like if that's if that's not something that you want to do, then another thing I do like to do is, if I'm working within one whip, especially for the full coverage ones, right? What I like to do is I like to have different sections. So I don't park. I don't do the, you know, grid square by grid square thing. I just kind of go all over the place. So I'm trying to see if I have anything available close to show you, but I don't. But let's just pretend this is a full coverage. I like to have different sections going so that, because that's the other thing, is if a new start is not an option, but you have a variety of whips, that's why I like a variety, right? So that I can have something so that if I feel like tackling confetti, I can go ahead and work on one whip. If I don't feel like tackling confetti, if I don't feel like counting, I have a whip like the Hogwarts Castle, for example, that's just strictly blocks and blocks of one color. I don't have to count for that one much. But if you don't have a variety of whips, if you're just a one whip kind of person, then I do sections. So I'll try to work towards a section that has a lot of the same color, but then also work towards a section that has confetti areas. That way I have, you know, choices. I have a variety of options to stitch on depending on what mood I'm in. So if I do have that energy to tackle confetti, I can work on one area. If I don't, then I can just focus on this area where it's just one color or not as many color changes. So yeah, that's what I do. That's my suggestion, because again, I know that sometimes it is difficult to keep going on a whip because of the area that you're working on. So that's why I like to have a variety of different, even just, you know, even just stitching with a different color can make all the difference. Like with Hogwarts, for example, I have, I think, over 36,000 stitches left to do in black alone. That's not fun, but I break it off by working on other pieces, like my 3 things sampler, for example, that has a lot of colors, a lot of variety. If I don't feel like working on black alone, then just working on a different piece with a lot of colors can make the difference. Oh man, I really didn't cut this short enough. I'm getting knots all over the place. But yeah, that was, again, that was the answer to that question. I also got a few questions regarding, you know, my favorite whips, favorite designers. For that, I have all I can say is it's hard to choose. I want to say Chilton Crafts, that guy, which, you know, I heard you guys what, Chilton Crafts, because I think most of my full coverage designs right now are hates. But ultimately, Chilton Crafts has a lot less confetti. It still has a lot of variety of color, but the way that the way that the patterns are charted are just a lot more user friendly, I think, for full coverage designs. So yeah, I'll go with Daniel Cordick's Chilton Crafts charts. And yeah, I didn't finish going through all my comments. I just looked at the last couple of videos to catch any questions that you guys might have had. I am still slowly but surely going through the, sorry, I'm trying to mess around with, my tablet keeps turning off and I'm trying to look at the pattern, even though again, it's only one section. Oh, that one's just 4. Okay. I caught it in time, relatively. But yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and, again, I'm still going through the comments, but if I missed your question, you can go ahead and comment on this video, repost your comment here, and I'll go ahead and get to it next time. I also want to give a quick shout out to Zakia of Ladywing Designs. She gave me a link to those tags that people do. So okay, so maybe I'll do, like, I'll alternate between Q&A Stitch with Me's, and then I'll do one with one of those tags. Because as it is though, I think you know, these videos go pretty long. Again, I'm sorry if I ramble, but that's just the stream of consciousness. But I'm quite happy with how this turned out, really. I started this when I was filming my video in Spanish, so I think I did a good job. I mean, in terms of how much I stitched. And again, sorry if I wobbled a little bit. I was trying to make sure that I have my tablet on. It keeps turning off. But yeah, I'm still getting used to this camera setup. But I think I'll power through. I'll get used to it. And last time I stitched in hand. Last time I mentioned that my go-to method for stitching is using Q-snaps. So I did go ahead and grab one of the smaller ones so that I could use it while filming without knocking things over, and I still managed to bump you guys anyway, so I apologize about that. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for joining me today. I'll see if I can post these later on this evening. And as far as my regular FlossTube goes, I actually don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to film at my regular time on Saturdays. Worst case scenario, I may just film tomorrow. I have to confirm. But yeah, I may just go ahead and film tomorrow instead, so that, because I know that a lot of you guys, I'm the same way. I have a lot more time during the weekend to catch up on FlossTube, so I'll try to film tomorrow so that you guys can still have the weekend to watch both this one and the regular FlossTube update, which I do have quite a bit to show you guys anyways, and I'll show this as well, because I know that some people don't necessarily like to watch these stitch with me's, but I'll show this as well to show it as my new start. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good week or a good weekend. Happy long weekend to all of my viewers in the United States. Please stay safe, drive safe. People are going to be a little bit crazy because it is a long weekend. Traffic always picks up on long weekends. And yeah, again, thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you next time. Happy stitching, guys.